Did you know 3 amateur codebreakers cracked a cipher that stumped the FBI for 51 years? In December 2020, David Orenchak, Jarl Van Eyck, and Sam Blake stared at their computer screen. Before them sat the Zodiac Killer's infamous 340-character cipher. For 5 decades, thousands had tried to decode it. The FBI eventually gave up. The case went completely cold. But these 3 had something different. New software that could test 650,000 possible solutions. Hour after hour, they fed combinations into their program. Then suddenly, letters began forming words. "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me." The Zodiac had been taunting investigators this entire time. The message revealed specific details about his twisted methodology. Every letter was placed with cold calculation, but the breakthrough that confirmed his intelligence brought them no closer to his identity. 51 years later, the Zodiac's final taunt was his greatest victory. Did you know 15 men pulled off Britain's most audacious heist in just 15 minutes? August 8, 1963, 3:03 in the morning. A Royal Mail train carrying 2.6 million pounds rolls through this quiet Buckinghamshire countryside. The same route, same time for years. Minimal security, maximum cash. Suddenly, a red signal forces the train to stop. But this wasn't scheduled. 15 masked men emerged from the darkness with military precision. They had studied this route for months, gathering inside information, planning every detail. The driver is overpowered. 120 mail bags stuffed with cash are loaded into waiting vehicles. 15 minutes. That's all it took. As they counted their haul, the gang realized they had stolen the equivalent of $50 million in today's money. But their celebration was short-lived. Britain launched its biggest manhunt in history. Most were caught within months. Except gang leader Ronnie Biggs, who escaped to Brazil and stayed hidden for 36 years. The Great Train Robbery became legend.
Did you know researchers in Fukushima found recordings of dead people predicting the future? In 2019, a radiation monitoring team was conducting routine checks in the exclusion zone. The abandoned streets were completely silent, frozen in time since the evacuation 8 years earlier. Inside an empty house, they discovered a small recording device hidden behind a family photo. When they played it back, they heard 3 voices speaking in perfect unison. The same words, same timing, like a disturbing chorus. But these weren't just any voices. They belonged to the Tanaka family who died during the evacuation. As they searched more homes, they found dozens of identical devices, all containing the same synchronized voices of the dead family. Then, something chilling happened. The voices started predicting future events with perfect accuracy. Weather patterns, news headlines, even personal details about the research team. On the final recording, they heard their own voices speaking in that same terrifying synchronization. They were already becoming part of whatever haunted that place.
In 1922, deep in the Bavarian countryside, the Gruber family lived on an isolated farm called Hinterkaifeck. One snowy morning, neighbors grew concerned. No one had seen the family in days. When they entered the barn, they found 6 bodies, each brutally murdered. But the horror didn't stop there. Police discovered footprints in the snow leading to the farm, but none leading out. Inside the house, someone had been living there after the killings, food missing, a fire recently stoked, animals still fed. Whoever did it moved quietly in those empty halls for days, while the village outside remained silent in fear. No suspect was ever found. Some said it was a drifter. Others whispered it was someone who knew the family well. A century later, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of Germany's most chilling unsolved mysteries. So tell me, would you have stepped foot inside that quiet farm, knowing the killer might still be there?
Did you know Jewish prisoners once saved the American economy by sabotaging the largest counterfeiting operation in history? In 1942, SS officer Bernhard Kruger walked into Sachsenhausen concentration camp with an impossible offer. He needed the best forgers and printers for a secret mission called Operation Bernhard. The deal was simple: create perfect counterfeit money or face execution. But this wasn't small-time fraud. The Nazis planned to forge 150 million pounds in British currency and American dollars. The goal was to flood Allied economies and collapse them from within. For months, these prisoners worked with twisted precision, knowing each perfect bill helped their captors. They successfully counterfeited British pounds so flawless that banks couldn't detect them. But when it came to American dollars, the prisoners made a choice. They deliberately sabotaged the printing plates, introducing tiny flaws that would expose the fakes. The operation partially succeeded against Britain, but their act of defiance saved the US economy. Most prisoners survived the war, having turned their skills into the ultimate act of resistance. Did you know the most famous gangster nickname in history was actually just clever marketing? On July 22, 1933, wealthy oil executive Charles Urschel was enjoying a quiet bridge game at his Oklahoma City mansion. At exactly 11:15 that evening, his peaceful world shattered. George Kelly had been watching for weeks, studying every habit, timing every routine. He struck at the perfect moment, snatching Urschel right from his own dinner table. The ransom demand was staggering, $200,000 worth over $4 million today. But Kelly made amateur mistakes everywhere. He spent the ransom money at local stores, creating a perfect paper trail. The FBI followed those bills like breadcrumbs straight to his hideout. The massive manhunt ended with Kelly's capture in just weeks. Here's the twist that shocked everyone. Machine Gun Kelly, the most feared name in crime, never fired a single shot. His wife created the terrifying nickname to sell newspapers. He got life in Alcatraz for a kidnapping built on pure bluff.
Did you know medieval doctors once drilled holes in skulls to release demons? And one procedure went terrifyingly wrong. In 1348, Brother Thomas lived peacefully at a monastery in England until he started hearing voices, dark whispers that no one else could hear, claiming invisible demons surrounded him. The other monks dismissed it as illness, but then Thomas began speaking languages he'd never learned. He described events happening in distant towns with impossible accuracy. His gentle nature vanished, replaced by violent outbursts and inhuman strength. The monastery decided on trepanation, drilling a hole in his skull to let the demons escape. Using crude iron tools, they began boring through bone while Thomas remained awake. He screamed as the drill bit deeper, blood pooling around the growing hole. When they finally broke through, Thomas fell silent for several minutes. Then, he whispered something that chilled everyone present. The demons weren't leaving, he said. They were letting others in. Within days, every monk in the monastery began hearing the same dark voices.
February 15, 2003, the Antwerp Diamond Center housed $100 billion worth of diamonds behind the world's most secure vault. 10 layers of protection, motion sensors, heat detectors, magnetic fields, and a 30-ton vault door that seemed impossible to breach. But Leonardo Notarbartolo had been planning for 2 years. He rented an office in the building, studied every camera angle, every security detail, every guard rotation. When they finally struck, it took just 27 hours to crack the fortress. They used tape to blind the sensors, hairspray to confuse heat detectors, and a custom-made key crafted from stolen impressions. One by one, they opened 123 safety deposit boxes, stealing $100 million in precious gems. It was the perfect crime, flawlessly executed, until investigators found a discarded sandwich bag in the nearby woods. DNA evidence from that single piece of trash led them straight to the thieves. 2 years of meticulous planning undone by the lunch.
Did you know a Victorian woman murdered over 20 people while being praised as the most caring neighbor in town? Mary Ann Cotton was beloved in County Durham, England in 1872. She brought homemade Foxglove Tea to sick relatives and husbands, following the normal practice of Victorian home remedies. Everyone trusted her completely. She was always there when someone fell ill. But a disturbing pattern began to emerge. Every person she cared for died within days of her visits, all from mysterious stomach problems. Her husbands, stepchildren, even her own children, all suffered the same fate. What no one knew was that foxglove contains digitalis, a deadly poison that causes heart failure. It perfectly mimics natural illness. She calculated exact doses to avoid suspicion. When authorities finally exhumed the bodies, they discovered something horrifying. The victims had both arsenic and digitalis in their systems. She had been using multiple poisons while the entire community praised her devotion. 21 people died trusting the woman who smiled while slowly killing them. Did you know an entire community was killed by their own sacred traditions? In 1957, the remote village of Foray in Papua New Guinea faced something terrifying. People began dying while laughing uncontrollably, unable to stop until their final breath. For generations, the Foray people honored their dead by consuming the brains of deceased relatives during funeral rituals. It was their most sacred tradition, showing love and respect. But then the laughing sickness spread like wildfire. First one person, then entire families, then whole communities fell victim. Victims would shake violently, lose control of their bodies, and laugh until death took them. The horrifying truth slowly emerged. Their beloved rituals were killing them. Scientists discovered a deadly prion disease called kuru, transmitted through the brain tissue. The community faced an impossible choice: abandon their most sacred tradition or watch everyone die. They chose survival, stopping the ritual forever. The laughing finally stopped, but their ancient way of life was gone. Did you know a man survived poison, gunshots, and beatings, only to die from drowning? On December 29, 1916, Prince Yusupov invited Rasputin to his palace for dinner. The mad monk had too much influence over the Russian royal family, and desperate conspirators wanted him gone. They laced cakes with enough cyanide to kill 10 men and watched him eat them with tea. Nothing happened. He kept talking and laughing normally. Panicking, Yusupov shot him point blank in the chest. Rasputin collapsed. But minutes later, he opened his eyes, grabbed Yusupov by the throat, and tried to strangle him. The other conspirators beat him with clubs and shot him 3 more times, still breathing. Terrified, they wrapped him in carpet and threw him into the frozen river. The autopsy revealed the shocking truth. The poison never entered his bloodstream. The bullets missed vital organs. He died from drowning, clawing desperately under the ice. Some people are just impossible to kill. Did you know a psychiatrist may have predicted his own death through his famous ink blot test? In 1922, Dr. Herman Rorschach was conducting what would be his final session. He sat across from a patient, confident in his revolutionary method of psychological analysis. The 10 ink blots lay between them, ready to reveal the depths of the human mind. But something was terribly wrong with this session. Every single blot the patient saw showed death, decay, funeral scenes. Then the patient began describing Rorschach's own funeral in vivid detail. The flowers, the mourners, even conversations no one had witnessed yet. The patient predicted the exact date Rorschach would die and from what illness. Details about his personal life that were impossible to know. The final ink blot made Rorschach's blood run cold. The patient saw his face, decomposing, staring back at him. Weeks later, on the exact date predicted, Rorschach died from the precise illness the patient had described. His own test had somehow revealed his fate.
Did you know someone turned America's most trusted medicine into a weapon of random terror? September 29th, 1982, Elk Grove Village, Illinois. 12-year-old Mary Kellerman woke up with a headache and reached for extra-strength Tylenol, the same red capsules sitting in medicine cabinets across the country. Within hours, she collapsed and died. But Mary wasn't alone. 7 people died in just 3 days, all after taking Tylenol from different Chicago area stores. Investigators made a chilling discovery. Someone had been buying bottles off store shelves, opening the capsules, and mixing in deadly cyanide. Then they carefully resealed everything and put the bottles back. No way to know which bottle was safe, which was death. The killer had turned everyday medicine into a game of Russian roulette. 40 years later, the case remains completely unsolved. But it changed everything. Those tamper-proof seals on every bottle? That's the legacy of an unknown killer who terrorized a nation. Did you know 2 fake cops pulled off the biggest art heist in history in just 81 minutes? March 18th, 1990, 1:24 in the morning at Boston's Gardner Museum. 2 men dressed as police officers approached the night security guards, claiming to investigate a disturbance. The guards, following protocol, let them inside the building housing a $500 million art collection. But these weren't real cops. Within minutes, both guards were handcuffed and locked in the basement while the thieves got to work. They bypassed every security system like professionals, moving through the galleries with precision. 13 priceless pieces disappeared that night, including Vermeer's The Concert and Rembrandt's The Storm in the Sea of Galilee. Total value $500 million, making it the largest art theft in world history. The most chilling part? 33 years later, those empty frames still hang on the museum walls. The FBI offers a $10 million reward, but the paintings have never been found. The perfect crime remains unsolved.